paper.
Cool. Thinking back to high school, were there any times where you felt like you had another home, whether it was a friend's house, whether it was a location, maybe the mall or a movie theater? Does anybody have those memories? Right? They're very nostalgic and they stick with you, and sometimes they just pop up in different places. So we all have those memories. They're so nostalgic, and we feel like we're brought back to those places. Sometimes it's a smell. Sometimes it's just something you start doing that reminds you. And for me, my second home was a pool hall in a very small town that I grew up in. I spent all my time there. And I just remember those moments when you'd walk in and you'd see those green felt tables, the kind of musty smell of the chalk, the clank of the balls, because there's 10 or 12 tables at a time, and the hue of regulars. There were so many people there. I remember George and Luis, the couple who always sat in the corner. You knew they were going to be there as if they were a fixture of the place. And as a teenager, with a couple of my friends, I was one of the only young people in the whole place. But we would spend so much time there. But one of my favorite people was Bill. He was the owner of the pool hall. If you can picture this, imagine a really tall, very, very slender guy. He always had a top hat just perched on his head. And he dressed to the nines every single night in this small little town. I don't know where he came from. And honestly, I don't know where he went. It was like a magician who lost his rabbit, but he kept that swagger. He had this voice that reminded me of if Morgan Freeman and a jazz record had a baby. He was just so smooth. And he would lean on the table while you're playing so smoothly and just say, hey, stroke it. Don't poke it. And just walk away and let you continue playing your pool game. Those little lessons made such an impression on me. Recently, I started playing pool again. So we go to the little pool hall at the bowling alley in Green Island. There's one small table. And it kind of feels like the same type of environment. There's the regulars that go bowling every single Wednesday. And it just got me thinking, there's times where those people that you had in your life, they just disappear. You don't know that was the last time that you were going to see them, the last goodbye. I never knew when I walked out of that pool hall that was going to be the last time that I'd be there, or that I would see Bill or George and Luis or anybody else there. And thinking back to that, it reminds me, who in my life now am I not going to see ever again, potentially? People come in our lives and we don't necessarily know when they're going to leave, whether we're going to get a proper goodbye. And not necessarily because they die, just because life happens. You stop going to school and you might not see that schoolmate. You stop going to that job. You stop going to that liquor store or that market or the various places that we all go. And somebody just moves on and you don't really think about it until maybe years later. And I always look at it as, I want to know that I've left the best impact that I can on the people that I meet. Never knowing when the last time we're going to see each other is, but knowing that presence, that influence, that joy, that happiness, that everything, that you're able to feel really good about what you're doing and how you're putting yourself in their shoes as well. Not knowing what might be going on with them, but how do they impact us? What is it that they can give us and that we can give them? We live in a very reciprocal society in a lot of ways that is commodification, but we don't realize that there's so much we can do by just being present and listening and caring just a little bit. And all of that can make such a profound impact that if we were able to think of who is it today that I feel like maybe I haven't called in a couple weeks or a couple months, maybe a couple years, but you think of them and you think, oh, it's going to be difficult maybe to pick up the phone or to maybe go back to those places that might have not been as convenient to go to now because you've moved or school ends, your programs change. But reaching out and just saying hello or giving that energy to someone else. Because the hue of people that we have access to, oh, it's beautiful. We have, I mean, this room, look at you. Like, this is so beautiful. We have people who all know each other in various ways, and we've all joined here today to just be present. And I absolutely love that the most, because if we remember one thing, is we have so many different opportunities to make an impact, but we really, truly only have one solid break.